Welcome to the Open to Hope Show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi, we've got some good friends coming on, and we're going to be talking to some people who've gone on and had loss and gone on and done some fabulous things, and then we're going to have a good friend sing some music for us and talk to us about music and grief therapy. Do you want to introduce our guest?
Absolutely, Mom, I'd love to. So we're going to talk today about music and healing and about Grief Quest, and our guests are Lilly Juliian, Jerry Winestock, and Stefan Benkowski. And Lilly Juliian is a bereaved parent, spouse, and founder of COPE. And her partner, Jerry Winestock, is a bereaved spouse, and they have a book called Grief Quest. They actually have a couple of books. And they do retreats and camps that have inspired thousands of individuals and families to find hope after loss, Mom.
All right.
Yes, and we were also going to then talk with Stefan.
And Stefan's also going to sing for us and going out of the show.
Yes.
So we're excited about that. And we'll have to find out in a minute what number he's going to sing for us. But first of all, Jerry, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here and to see you both again.
Yeah. Hi, Jerry.
Hi.
And Lilly, it's great to see you.
Thank
and
you.
find out how you two came together and are doing this fabulous work together. Let's start with you, Lilly. You had a daughter who was killed in an accident.
I did. My daughter, Michelle, she was 20, and she lost her life almost 25 years ago.
Wow, she's a beautiful girl, I've got to tell you.
Thank you. Yeah, she was a beauty, inside and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your husband died a few years later?
He died 8 years later on the same date that Michelle passed.
That is so bizarre. What date was that?
It was January 25th.
Wow.
January 25th. So I felt like he got a direct sign, you know. She just
lifted him right out of this world and into the next, yeah.
So that puts you in being an expert in a couple of areas. A couple of areas we never wanted to be experts in, right? And yes,
Jerry,
you lost your spouse.
I lost my spouse, Joy, actually this past week, 9 years ago.
Wow.
And I had an extraordinary experience. This is sort of what led us to come together. She began to communicate with me after she passed.
And what did Joy die of?
Breast cancer.
Wow.
And I thought I was going.
So you had a long run of it. I mean,
6 years, yeah. Yeah. But we had a wonderful life together, a wonderful love, but when you have big love, you have big loss. I was devastated, but I was blessed with this experience of feeling guided for a year. And she helped me move through my grief. She actually helped me before she left. One of the things she said to me a few weeks before she passed, she said she had already lost she had 4 children, she lost the first 2. So she was a bereaved parent, yet when I met her, she was the happiest person I had ever met.
That's amazing.
She was amazing. And she had lost various family members and husbands and so on, so she had built up a grief muscle.
Yeah.
And when I was starting to fall...
I like that, Jerry.
Yeah.
She had built up a grief muscle.
And when a few weeks before she passed, she said to me, she started to see that I was getting devastated, and she said to me, if my death destroys your life, then our love was a poison pill.
Wow, I like that.
And she said,
That's
I
powerful.
won't accept that. So you swear to me, she did this to me. She said, you swear to me, you will grieve only as much as absolutely necessary and not a second more. And you will be open to new love and new life, even better than what we've had. Wow. Swear it. Not for your sake, she said, but for my sake. I said, yeah, okay, whatever. I was at the time in tears, probably. A few months later, I don't want to get out of bed. She's gone. And I don't care anything about me anymore. I really. And then I remember I promised her.
Right.
I promised her that it wouldn't be a poison pill.
Wow.
And so I started to get out of bed and look for ways to heal. And I realized after my experience, and I came out the other side, that she had given me a great gift by demanding that I heal.
Yes.
I think one of the greatest obstacles, and this is what we do at the camp, at the parent retreat that we both run, is we talk about this, that giving oneself permission to heal is one of the biggest obstacles in getting through grief. Because Most people, if I hadn't had her giving me this gift, I think that our automatic feeling is that the depth, the degree of our pain is equal to the depth of our love.
Right.
And so there's an unconscious wanting to hold on to the pain because the pain is
The love.
the love.
I think it's the love.
It's the love.
Yeah.
And how to move from that pain connection to a love connection is the great journey, I think, of healing. And so we had people at the parent retreat
Now, how did you
sign
meet
declarations.
to start this?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. How did you end up meeting Lilly?
Well,
How did you guys come together?
Well, Jerry was coming into New York for a conference, and he found me online. He was, who can I meet in New York while I'm there?
Yeah.
But it was the grief. It was my grief story that really...
that she'd had communication from her daughter
Through
that
Cope?
inspired her.
You found her through Cope?
No.
I was in LA at the time.
Through an online dating
Oh,
website.
okay. Well, I love
But-
hearing that.
But it was the spiritual singles.
Yeah.
But it was because the spiritual component is such a huge component in Cope. It's such a huge component in my own healing.
Yeah.
So it was my grief story that really drew him in.
And then I had her read my memoir, Joyride,
Right.
about my year,
Yeah.
and that drew her in.
Wow.
Well, Stefan, when you hear these guys talking, I know that you're connected with music, and I know
Yes.
you're around a lot of people who in hospice and that kind of thing, right?
Yes.
And when they talk about communication with the person, that doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, it's really made. I'm thinking about a lot of different things as I'm listening to you guys talk, and music is an amazingly powerful tool because of the emotional connection that it can have, because of the memories it can bring back, and music can be so personal, especially when there are lyrics involved in a singer, because sometimes when we listen to music, we're thinking about what is the message that the singer is communicating. And so I have found in my own grief experiences, I'll listen to a song that maybe I've heard hundreds of times before, and I'll listen to it again, and it will be a message from somebody, and it will be a message. I was struck by what you said in that it can be a message of sadness or a message of love, and that shift in how you approach the music can be kind of a way to kind of gauge, how you're feeling when you listen to a song. Do you listen to it with love and happiness, or does it bring out the sadness part of the grief? And so, yeah.
And I've got to say something about Stefan. I met him because my friend and yours, Jill Amori, Dr. Jill Amori Harrington, her father was dying. And so Stefan came in, and you played different songs to him as he got weaker and weaker, right, and left this world. And she said it had such a profound impact on her family's life and on her father's life. And he was an FDNY, a firefighter, and initially kind of resistant. And she was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And she said it just calmed him down and put him in such a ready state to leave this world. She said it was absolutely amazing. I think the work you do is incredible.
Thank you. Well, he was wonderful to work with because he had such an amazing background, and we used the songs that we chose to kind of represent different areas of his life. So through our work together, we chose one song to represent kind of his biker side of his life, and then there was kind of the more spiritual, the more emotional side, and then his
Military.
Yep, and then the military, and then his children would choose songs that they remember listening
love
to,
that.
and then his
The
his
Irish
spouse.
piece.
He's Irish, so he did Irish music for that culture, and
I
then
love
his
it.
wife chose songs that she remembers, and there's music marks very specific points in our life. It's why there's music during church. It's why there's music at weddings. Everyone has a wedding song. There's music for funerals. And it's because music holds these memories for us, and you know, it can be very powerful.
Have you done anything with music in your spouse
I was just going to say, yeah, it's an amazing outlet for grief. We have a drummer that comes up during the children's camp, Camp Erin. We do the parents' retreat on the other side of the lake. But that drummer comes and all the kids have handmade drums. They actually, out of recycled material. Wow. And they just bang, you know, their emotions, you know, out in that drumming. You
I love it because they get it all out.
Oh,
and our emotions have a rhythm to
those
them.
drums, right.
So there's a rhythm there.
And they make their own, you know, rhythms with different words.
Love it.
Yeah,
And
it's really
people
cool.
can find out about your camps at COPE, your COPE site?
The COPE site, yes.
CopeFoundation.org.
Okay, good, Jerry.
Yes, and all the information about Camp Erin is on the COPE website.
Okay. And it's a free camp?
Yes, it's a free weekend
That's
camp for
amazing.
children 6 through 17.
Okay, talk about your grief quest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
let's hold that up for the camera.
We have two.
It started with that question that Joy
You can
posed.
kind of hold them up like
Yes.
this.
Okay. That Joy posed to me. This is the one I originally wrote for
Hold it still.
a spouse or a parent loss, and Lilly read it and decided that she would love to adapt it for a parent.
For parents.
Love it.
Because, so the question that she posed, is my love a poison pill? Started, and the power of questions. They say love is the answer, but loss poses all these questions.
Yeah.
What happened? Why me? Where did they go? Could I have done anything else? Will I ever see them again? All these questions.
And I just want to add that the most beautiful thing about these books is that it's about the relationship. It's LOVE's, love your memories, open to your grief, value your relationship, and E, embrace life. And when I actually used the book for myself, it was going back and remembering my relationship with Michelle, and also writing about, you know, how much I value about the relationship that we have now, because relationship continues after death, and it's so, I think it's the most important thing.
Well, you know, the relationship. Are you going to sing Good Morning Is Broken today?
Sure.
That's what they sang at my son's funeral, and I had relationship with music.
And we didn't know that Stefan was going to sing that.
I did because I asked
Wow.
Stefan to sing
No,
it.
what
But
a
I
song.
will tell you
We
something.
did know that Stefan was
something
gonna
that
sing it. She just didn't tell me.
happened recently to me. I got one of those Easter things on the
Easter
internet.
basket? Yeah,
no,
those
no, on the
Easter
internet.
e-cards or whatever they
Yeah,
are.
an e-card on the
Yeah.
internet, and it was from my very good friend Beverly McManus, and it was Morning is Broken.
Wow.
So
And he died a minute before Easter.
Yeah, a minute before Easter. So when I knew Stefan was going to be on, I thought I would love to have him sing that.
Interesting, of course.
So what I'm saying is the same thing. The memories, you know, they keep coming back in music. I think one thing about music, you were talking about the things that you can do, and I think writing too. Sometimes thinking is so dense. We keep thinking, but if we write it, or if we hear it, or if we sing it, it kind of stops us and
So
slows us down.
Basically, what I did was I created, as Lilly said, an LOVE
Oh, I like that,
process
Jerry.
for each day. And it's 28 days. It takes 28 days to kind of create a habit, they say, 21 to 28 days. And on the 7th day, there's different questions. You take a break, because grieving is hard work, and you find yourself. So they're find yourself questions, because when you've lost someone, you've lost a part of yourself.
Absolutely.
And one of the ways to heal is to find a new part of yourself, or an old one maybe that you haven't been nurturing. We've been the response has been extraordinary. People have wanted, you know, do you have another one? A month wasn't enough. We've been using it at COPE, other organizations around the country have been using it.
Yeah, they use it in support groups.
I'm so proud. I mean, I've done some things in my life,
you have.
but the kind of responses that we've gotten are just, nothing takes the place of really helping someone going through the most difficult challenge a person can face in this life. Is
I agree with
grief.
you. Yeah.
So it's great, wonderfully fulfilling.
Now, how do people get your book?
It's on Amazon, Grief Quest.
Grief Quest on
Yeah.
Amazon. How do they go
And
to
this
your
is for a
workshop?
spouse or, excuse me?
How do they get to your workshops?
To our workshops. We've done workshops at conferences, but as I said, you know,
Are you doing-
this
do you
is
do
it's a
anything?
very valuable tool for
Yeah.
support group meetings because,
Right.
as I was told, you know, the group is, you know, it's hard. It's hard, and you want to leave everyone in the group on a high note.
I agree
so,
with you. Yeah.
they use the love question, you know, at the end, and everybody, you know, goes around the circle and just names one thing that they love and
Right.
remember about child. Everybody wants
I
to
like
talk
that.
about their child and loved one.
And the way that they lived.
Yes. yes.
Stefan, where are you located?
Right now I live in Astoria, Queens, but I work for Calvary Hospice, and we service on the boroughs, and so they got me out in Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Nassau, Queens.
So they just have you go around and you basically sing, or do you do other things?
It's music therapy, so it incorporates, you know,
Music
sometimes it's singing, sometimes it's just talking about, you know, the emotions and the memories that come out of the music. There's a lot of legacy work that can be done in creating compilations of music to represent the people's lives, songwriting, active music making if they're not so weak. So there's a lot involved in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think those compilations have got to be great. After people do die, the families still got, that can carry on. I know Joe was so touched by all that music.
Oh, absolutely. She said it was, she sung his praises.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, music touches our soul in such a deep way, in our emotions.
Yeah, I had an interesting experience using music in my journey. I had some sense, and I also got from Joy that it was important to express my feelings and to cry. And I thought, well, if I cry enough, maybe there's a certain amount of gallons of tears I have to cry, and I'll be done. I'll be on the other side.
Yeah.
But you know, starting to cry, I know I had the feeling, and I've talked to other people since, you feel like you can't stop. So you don't really want to go there because it feels like you'll be swept away. I got this inspiration to try this, and I used music. I put together a playlist of songs that just opened me up. You know, songs that were our songs, songs we danced to, songs that were just part of our life. And I would play that and I would immediately start bawling and crying. And then after, when I thought I had enough,
Hey, most guys say they can't cry, so
I
I think they're probably listening to this
Yes,
and
I
thinking,
like this.
okay.
well,
this is good.
and then I discovered that if I changed the playlist to my dance music, I love to dance. I would get up and I would be crying, but and within 2 minutes, the crying would stop. The past would be gone. I would be in the present. I would be in my body, and it was like, oh, I found a way to break my tears.
Oh, I like this idea, Jerry.
So once I had the break,
Yeah.
I could cry, and I did this for several weeks as a kind of practice,
Yeah.
a tear practice, and it was very powerful.
I like this idea, where you're in that space and you're crying, and then you're done with that moment.
You
and
have to find what your
shift
break
it.
is.
Okay, you have to find what your break
You
is.
find your
there you go.
break, and-
Everybody out there, you need to find what your break is.
Right. And then
I
you
like
can
that.
do it. And you know, they say that two people go out and have food poisoning.
Yeah,
The person who throws up lives.
yeah.
The person who doesn't dies.
Oh, that's an interesting
So
analogy.
yeah. Our grief is creating all sorts of toxins and also a chemistry which is
Yes.
not healthy.
Absolutely.
Tears are one of the ways we flush it, we get rid of it. And we need to let the emotions move through us.
Yeah.
It's the trying to hold them in that kind of gets very nasty. And but it's hard to let it go because we're afraid it'll never stop.
Do families ever sing together with you?
Absolutely. I mean,
Because I'm thinking of him saying that.
Sure. Well, you know, every family is different. Everyone's a little bit more involved or less involved. You know, it all depends. But what you mentioned is so important because you basically described what I do every day, and you know that's choosing the right songs is so important, and that's why it's so important to have a music therapist, or at least just kind of someone who really understands how music can impact you, because that's basically what I do. I'll choose music to bring out those emotions, and then through my entire visit with the people, I shape and guide their emotions through which songs I choose. And so, you know, it's a theory called the ISO principle, where you match the patients at where they're at emotionally with a song. And
I want you to come to my house.
Sure, sure.
Right?
And it reflects the emotions that they're feeling, and then you
And
slowly move them and move where they're feeling, and you can do it physically as well, and starts with something more lively and engaging, and slowly move to more relaxing. And it's the idea of using this stimulus, this powerful emotional stimulus, to kind of shape how people are feeling. And so,
And then if you want to leave them on a high note, you probably do something fun and light.
exactly.
Do
New
you
York,
try
New
to
York.
leave on a
New
higher
York,
note?
New York.
Yeah, I mean, New York is a good closer.
I like that.
You know, unless they, sometimes somebody might want to leave with something, you know, very specific or very
Yeah.
poignant, and if that's the case, then that's great. But it's always patient or client led, you know, for empowerment.
I just want to share this with you. Joy passed at noon on Good Friday. You're talking about Easter.
Yeah,
We were all there in the morning, 7 of us. Joy's daughter is a rock star, and her song "Take My Breath Away" won the Oscar.
Wow, so she's
So-
literally a rock star.
No, yeah, really. And so, but Joy had planned all the music she wanted at her memorial in the weeks prior. She
Yeah.
planned the whole party, her celebration of life party, and we sang to her around her bed while she was no longer responding. She was in transition. But we sang one from you know, the dance theater piece. Anyway, and another. We did a whole musical thing.
Bob Fosse.
We did, and it was just wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah, music has a power.
Talk about the. I just
words.
think about the vibration when you sing. Not only the vibration in your own body, but the vibration in the room when
Yeah.
everyone sings. I mean,
Powerful.
everything's just got to be
It
incredibly
elevates everything.
powerful. Yeah.
I know, I love that. I know, compassionate friends, sometimes we get on the elevator and we sing Yesterday. I always start at, you know, with the Beatles. And everybody starts singing and the elevator's going up and down, and you know, sometimes strangers get on and go, what are these bereaved people doing singing Yesterday?
Well, so if you had advice, I'm going to ask each of you to give to somebody who's watching the show right now, who's just had a traumatic loss, what would it be in a quick piece, Jerry?
To make a commitment to take care of themselves the way they took care of their loved one. It's easier said than done.
Yes, I like that.
Nice.
I would say it's really easy to isolate and to look for a support group and get the support, because when you connect with other people who have felt the loss and pain that you're experiencing, and you feel understood, that is just the greatest gift of, you know, your loss, bringing your loved one. I always tell people this in, you know, through COPE and Camp Erin, it's because our children are together that we're here together now.
Yeah.
Our children brought us together. So, you know, our spouses brought us together. So, you know, I think it's just so important, you know, to have that support and not feel alone in your grief.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And Stefan, you're going to have the last word because you're going to have the last song because you're going to sing us out of the show right now.
That's my advice, my song.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to hearing you sing, and we thank you for watching our show today. And Heidi and I and everyone here wants to say to you, if you've lost hope, please lean on ours till you find your own, and there is a wonderful life out there waiting for you.
Absolutely.
Morning has broken, like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning. Praise for the singing, fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness on the wet garden, sprung from completeness where his feet passed. Mine is of sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the new light, Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning. Praise for the singing, fresh from the